Welcome everyone. This is my first arrow build in my new place, so I'm excited to do this and see how well it comes out. I finally have a microphone, so hopefully you don't have to listen to all the road noise, and it's going to be a lot better audio. As you just saw, I shot my Easton Sonics, which I used as my 3D arrow last year. I did a build on these as well. You can see the speed from my first shot there. We'll go ahead and weigh this real quick. 350 on the money. And that's at a 26.5 inch arrow shot out of a 26.5 inch bow at over 55-ish pounds. What we're gonna do today, I had someone at the archery shop make a mark here where I can cut my arrow and still be at the center of the burger hole, meaning if I were to change rest, I still have a little bit of room to shoot these. We're gonna lop these off, put new inserts and points in them, and see how we can reduce the speed. We're also going to take off the fletching, which is currently a left helical, and we're going to put a right helical moderately straight and just see if we get any more out of our sight tape with less helical. These will primarily be for shooting 3D again this year like I did last year, but I may also hunt antelope with these and potentially my bear, just because they'll already be set up during bear season. And then right after that is antelope. The one wild card is I do have a pig hunt probably this spring, and I'm not sure if I'll do this or go to my heavier arrows for that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get these cut and then start building our new arrows. I am going to cut the ones that I have existing and take the fletching off. I also have a fresh dozen, so we're going to do the rest of the build video with the fresh dozen, and we'll retrofit these other arrows at a later date. Okay, these are by a huge stretch the shortest arrow I've ever shot. They are measuring carbon to carbon 24.5 inches, just over 24.5 inches. I'm trusting the mark that my buddy made. We're gonna take this little grind wheel and just touch up each arrow just a little bit, just to make sure we got a nice edge. Then what we're gonna do is take our cotton swab and clean them. Then we're gonna take, I like the Super Glue Loctite Gel Control Glue. It's always been really good for me. And one of our standard inserts for the 6mm, and just get a little bead on this. And we're just gonna twist as we insert. Get that all the way down. Give it a second to dry. And then we're gonna touch up the edge. Beautiful. And we're just gonna do that 12 more times, and we're gonna do that now. Now that we've got all of our inserts in, we're gonna go ahead and put in our points. This year, I'm just gonna have these podium points that have the O-ring. They're 4 6mm. Last year I had ones that have a little overhang, which is absolutely a nightmare for pulling them out of targets. So this year we have these. I'm just gonna screw all these in. They go in a little bit tight because of the O-ring. With that O-ring, they're not gonna come loose. So we're gonna go ahead and put points in all these guys. Now that we got all our points in, we're gonna go ahead and start fletching our arrows. This year I'm using the October Mountain Products fletching jig. I bought this earlier this year, and I've used it only once for my trad bow arrows. I used it to do the feathers, and those came out super well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that for these. We're gonna stay with the AAE hybrid arrow vane, but what we are going to do differently is we're gonna do less helical, and see if that adds up to any additional distance. Let's go ahead and get this set up for these arrows and start fletching. So I'm going to go for a 1 degree right helical. I'm just going to try to set this right in the middle of the arrow. I think that right there looks pretty good, so we're going to tighten this down. Now that we've got it where we want it, we're going to go ahead and tighten both of these so it doesn't move on us. I already have a vane loaded in, but you just open the clamp, load it in. I load it to the back of this little cutout. For the glue, I'm just using the AEE Max Bond glue that I've had for a while. This works really good. I've had no veins come off in the last year or so. The thing I like about these hybrids the most is that you don't have to primer pen them. That and they've been very durable for me. I'm in the car a lot, flying a lot, and I haven't had a lot of veins get bent, broken, or otherwise. So kind of come in, do the back first, make sure the arrow's all the way back, then kind of press down firmly, and we're going to let it set for a second. Once we've let it set for a second, we're going to kind of open the clamp, pull it away, and I like to rotate it over the top, and then we're going to rotate to do our next vein. So then I'm going to take this off, load our next vein, give it a little dab of glue, then do the same thing. We're going to kind of approach heel heavy, and then come down, get some good pressure on it, and let it sit for a second. So we've done that for a second. We're going to open it, lift it, and generally I like to peel it back, but that works. The reason I'm not messing with indexing broadheads or anything is I'm going to build a fresh batch when it's time to go hunting for these, even though I am going to do mechanicals for the antelope and probably for the bear. I still want to make sure that those are indexed correctly and that those arrows haven't been shot up all season. So we'll do a separate video making my antelope and bear arrows, and then again we'll make arrows for elk and mule deer this fall. So now that we've got this one done, get this off and check that out. Not as much helical, a pretty straight vein. We do got a little bit to get the thing spinning, and those come out really good on that jig. We'll go ahead and do the other 11 of these and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got our first one done. The fletching looks really nice. I'm very happy with how the jig is doing that, and it's pretty quick actually, which I also like quite a bit. So what we're going to do, as opposed to making you watch me fletch all 12 of these, we're going to go ahead and weigh this. All right, we're getting 334.8, 335. So we did shave off a little bit of weight. What we'll do is fletch up the rest of these while we watch some UFC or something, and then go shoot this at the range and just see how much speed we picked up. A couple things that people are going to miss in this, they're going to say, well, you just took off a little bit from the front end. One, I did change the vane configuration. Secondarily would be that a shorter arrow is going to have less lateral drag, meaning when it's windy, it's going to be affected less, which is going to be important for antelope and for 3D shoots now that I'm living out west, because most of them are going to be longer distance than a traditional ASA. So this arrow is what I'm going to use for both of those. These are quite short, and honestly, this is the shortest arrow I've ever made. So I'll be curious to see how this goes and see if we can actually pick up any speed from it. I would be curious, before we even go, I'm going to make a bet and say it's less than 3 feet per second.